So there are a couple of things that I think define true Texas barbecue. One of those things obviously being brisket, and one of the other things is sausage, specifically the Texas style hot link variety of sausage. And over the years, having taught a lot of barbecue classes and taught a lot of people how to cook barbecue, I've learned that there are a lot of people that love Texas style hot links, but I've also learned that there's a lot of people that don't want to go down the rabbit hole of buying new equipment just to make sausage at home. Some people just want the end result, and that's absolutely fine. And here in the UK, there isn't a huge amount of variety when it comes to that style of sausage. If you're someone who enjoys pulling together a big platter of Texas style barbecue with brisket, ribs, turkey, sides, pickles, and sausage, there are only a few good quality options. There are a couple of online butchers that do it. Ali at Sausage makes great sausage. So I was quite interested to find out that Marks and Spencer's now do a apparently Wagyu Texas style hot link, and they actually look pretty good. They definitely look the part. So these are the M&S Collection Master Grill British Wagyu hot links, beef and pork smoked sausages, made with British Wagyu beef, British outdoor bred smoked pork, blended with cayenne chili, mustard, and smoked salt. Spice-wise, that sounds about right, keeping it nice and simple. They look like they're in a natural casing, which is pretty good. So today I'm going to be cooking some of these up and kind of doing a bit of a review and testing how good these actually are. For the kind of person that just wants smoked sausage on a tray at home, but doesn't want to go down the route of making sausage, are these any good? 35% Wagyu beef, 28% smoked pork shoulder. So I guess they're probably using like a cold smoked pork shoulder rather than a pork shoulder that's been fully cooked to temperature. Paprika, cayenne pepper, coriander, and black pepper. Salt, smoked garlic, sugar, yeast extract for that umami, dried mushrooms, again for the umami, smoke flavoring, smoked salt, a lot of smoked flavored stuff going on there. Smoked garlic, smoked salt, and smoked flavoring. Yeah, they look pretty good. They actually smell very smoky. This actually feels weird because I don't actually have to prepare anything. In fact, I don't even need to get my board dirty for this. Initial look, I like the size of them. Looks to be a good amount of fat in there. They smell like how barbecue flavored crisps smell. But yeah, nothing really to do. We're gonna take these outside, throw them onto the Traeger, purely because it's easy. So we'll get the Traeger turned on, take them outside, throw them on. Pretty simple stuff today. Gonna get these on, keep them tied together for now. Trying to dry out these little twists in between each link. That'll just help to keep them together. And I'm cooking on the Traeger today purely for convenience. Cold, it's gonna start raining, and I'm not too worried about too much smoke flavor coming from my pit. Gonna be cooking at around 110 Celsius or 225 Fahrenheit. Come back in a little bit and check on them. So while those are cooking, a couple of things to mention about this cook. Firstly, I'm not going to be using a pellet tube or anything like that in my Traeger to try and generate more smoke flavor. And that's something that I would normally do if I was cold smoking sausages that have been cured, which is a point I'll get onto in a second. But these sausages from the ingredients already contain a huge amount of smoked flavorings, smoked salt, smoked garlic, and just general smoked flavorings, which I imagine is liquid smoke. So I think that there's a good chance that these will already have too much smoke for my personal palate. So straight onto the Traeger, letting the Traeger do its thing. I'm using Mesquite Pit Boss pellets as I always do, but generally not looking to intentionally add a load of smoke to them. Obviously, if you're cooking these, you could throw a chunk of wood on a Weber or cook them on the offset. For me, I think the natural smoke of the Traeger is going to be fine. The other thing is, if you've watched videos like mine or Chud's Barbecue or Smokin' Joe's or anyone else who regularly makes videos in the Central Texas style, you're probably already familiar with the idea of using curing salts and more often than not using a two-stage cooking approach. Typically, the purpose of the two-stage cooking is to add more smoke to your sausage. If you think about it, sausages are pretty small. They're not very thick. They will cook pretty quickly. So to maximize the amount of smoke flavor you're getting onto your sausage before it finishes cooking, the approach a lot of people take, including myself, is to smoke at a much, much lower temperature to extend the cooking period. That could be upwards of 4 hours. At that point, most people take them out, put them in an ice bath to reheat later. That long, colder smoking process is what gives Texas hot links that trademark bright red color. That's all that smoke forming on the natural casing, and it's what gives them so much smoke flavor. The problem with that is if you are stepping back your temperatures to extend your cook time, there's a good chance that your sausages may be in the danger zone for longer than they should be. And by danger zone, I mean the temperature range where bacteria thrives and multiplies really, really quickly. So by all means, if you want to add more smoke flavor to your sausages, you can extend the cooking time by reducing the temperature. However, that is where the curing salts come in. If you want to cold smoke your sausage and get them really smoky, you need to add some sort of cure in order to prevent bacterial growth in that time that it takes to cook the sausage at a low temperature. And the reason why I'm telling you that is these sausages and most sausages that you buy online do not contain curing salts. So if you're wondering why I'm not doing a cold smoke over 4 to 5 hours on these, it's because these sausages just contain raw pork and raw beef. I wouldn't want to put these sausages into an environment where bacteria will grow rapidly without something else in there helping to stave off that bacteria. So I'm going to cook these like I would any other fresh sausage, probably over the course of about an hour. So just bear that in mind. If you're making your own sausage, you already know this. And if you're going to buy these or any other kind of sausage on the market that is marketed as a Texas style hot link, just be aware that the way you should cook them is a bit different to how you would cook a cured sausage. Unfortunately, I've seen people follow that cold smoking process and smoking fresh pork sausages for 7 hours, and that can be really risky. So hopefully that was useful. So about an hour and 20 minutes later, these are feeling nice and firm, which tells me they're probably done, but ultimately we're going to temp check them with the Final Touch X1 from Chef's Temp. And you can see that I've moved into the front here because I wanted to slow down the cook. They were cooking pretty fast, a little bit cooler at the front. Temp wise, we're just under 155, which is about perfect where I want to be. So I think these are ready to come off. Kind of look like kielbasa. Take these inside and let them rest. So here they are, looking good. Feeling quite firm, definitely more like a kielbasa. They actually smell quite good. Got to do the snap test. Oh, got quite a papery skin. Quite juicy looking on the inside. Not spicy, tiny little bit of heat. Very tough skin, very coarse, lots of chunky fat in there. Very tightly bound, very tightly bound. Flavor wise, definitely not a bad flavor. Definitely nice and juicy on the inside. And I even managed to pick up a little bit of a smoke ring just on the very outer there with the Traeger, but it's definitely missing something. Let's try it with some barbecue sauce. Got this mustard based sauce from City Market in Luling. Try it with that. It's good, it's not bad. So the first thing it makes me think of is a coarse, a very coarse actually, hot dog. Definitely nice and juicy. There's a good amount of fat in there, but the smoke flavor is just making me think of a hot dog. Salt wise, massively under seasoned. I would say that's probably a 1% salt, if that. And I think that if this had more salt in it, it would elevate everything else, but it doesn't, so it's kind of bland. Heat wise, got a tiny little bit of cayenne heat on the back. Warm, not spicy at all. It's not very upfront, it's just kind of warming on the back of the tongue. So not completely uncommon for a Texas hot link. Heavier on the paprika flavor than I'd necessarily like. Doesn't taste like a hot link that I'm used to. And it's not that it's bad, but I think if I got this on a tray of barbecue that someone served me or I paid for, I honestly don't think I'd finish a whole sausage. But again, that's not to say that these are bad by any means. They got a pretty good texture to them. A little bit on the firmer side for me, a nice amount of spice, but massively under seasoned. A little bit bland, doesn't really make you want to go back even after dipping it in sauce. They definitely still have that barbecue crisp flavor. If you're in the UK, you'll probably know what I'm on about. Kind of reminds me of like barbecue flavored crisps from the 90s. So I think overall for me, if you're someone who's absolutely adamant that you're not going to get into sausage making and you don't want to go and buy online from an online butcher or a local butcher, if they do Texas hot links, and you don't want to go and buy from someone like Sausage, and you've got an M&S near you, and again, you're a big fan of making up a big old tray of Texas barbecue, would I recommend that you go and pick some of these up? I'd recommend that you go and try them for sure. Personally, I will never buy them again, but that is because I make my own sausage. I've eaten a lot of sausage over the years. I know what I like, I know what I don't like. So yeah, overall, I'm really happy that over the last couple of years, there's been a massive increase in barbecue focused products coming in. It definitely tells you that there's a trend and a market for barbecue related things, which personally I think is a good thing. The more popular barbecue is here, the better for everyone, especially people like me. So to see a UK supermarket come out with a barbecue focused sausage and call it a hot link tells you that they think that people are aware of what that is, which is a huge difference from where we were even 5 years ago. So yeah, very cool. Good to see it in the store. I wouldn't buy it again, but I'd recommend at least going out and trying it. So if you enjoyed that video, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out. YouTube has not been easy the last couple of months for me and for loads of other creators. Views aren't what they were since Shorts came out. Money isn't as good as it once was. So anything that you can do to help, whether that be subscribe if you're not, comment, like, it really does help. So if you like this video and you want to see more, subscribe, and I'll see you next week for another video.